there are no more migrants at Guantanamo Bay, despite the president's promise to house 30,000 migrants there as part of his crackdown on illegal immigration. A U.S. officials telling ABC News 166 deportees were flown to Honduras and 2 were flown back to the United States. And the Trump administration is also ending deportation protection for nearly 500,000 Haitians in the U.S. The Caribbean country has been victim to relentless gang violence and political instability for decades. I want to bring in ABC's Matt Rivers for the latest. Matt, what more are we learning about where and why these migrants were moved from Guantanamo?
Yeah, well, what the administration is saying is that this was always meant to be a temporary stopover for what they initially called the worst of the worst, these Venezuelan migrants being sent to Honduras, where they will eventually be sent back to Venezuela. They're saying, again, it was just meant to be temporary, but it begs the question, why did this happen in the first place? Because in the beginning, everyone in the administration, including President Trump, was saying this was meant for the worst of the worst. There were numbers talked about, like 30,000 migrants being sent there, and yet really it was just 10 flights bringing migrants there, and now there are no migrants left in Guantanamo. Why did that happen? Could it be the cost? Could it be questions about legality? All of that made this whole Guantanamo Bay decision by the administration a bit more complicated, and now, at least for the moment, they've punted on it, completely moving on.
And Matt, what does the end of TPS mean for nearly 500,000 Haitians who fled that country?
Yeah, so these 500,000 Haitians were given temporary protected status under the Biden administration through February of next year. Under DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announcing that they would be moving up the end of that status to August of this year. That essentially means that all 500,000 Haitians that came in under that particular policy would be subject to deportation. It is a huge threat to those people, especially when you consider that Haiti is in the midst of the worst crisis really in generations. There is rampant poverty. There is rampant gang violence. There was some 6,000 people roughly killed last year from gang violence alone. The international airport is closed. Food security is is really difficult to attain at this point. Half the country's population struggles to feed itself already every day. There's already 1 million people internally displaced within Haiti, and now you're talking about adding tens of thousands of more people to that mix, to a country that simply cannot house them, cannot keep them safe, cannot feed them. It would be adding insult to injury to this country, and yet that is what the Trump administration says they want to do.
All right. Matt Rivers from Mexico City. Matt, thank you.